Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. This is Animatronic Update. I'm just like waiting for supplies. Like I have some I had to order some Velcro black dots. But anyway, I also been, like when I wait for supplies or something like that, or just taking a break, I just I design these things like if I wanted to put a body on my 3D printed animatronic creature, I could give it a body. It would be probably about 3 feet tall, but what I would do is I would pretty much make it like I'd put like, kid clothes on it, like a jumper or, with little footsies or whatever. But like this one right here is the werewolf that I've been working on too, and I needed to test this gimbal that's holding this head up. And I just got to make sure it has enough torque. And then I'll just show you what I've been working on. But this right here is, kind of a dream piece for me, but what I wanted to do, and this is about 4 foot tall, maybe 4.5 foot tall, but what it would be is like a puppet. But the animatronic part, as far as the head and the neck, gimbal. But here's me doing some testing. And the reason, I've not tested these servos yet, so I decided to test them. And I wanted to give, like right here is the gimbal is actually 5 axis, but the the front two, which is the tilt and the left right movement, is like a I guess a 2 axis gimbal. It's like a camera gimbal. But but I got to test these things to make sure I have enough torque in the servos. And when I was looking down with the wolf, it was I didn't have this screw as far as the servo horn or the servo hub wasn't screwed in, so I'm having to make sure I do all that. But a lot of these come from Servo City or Go Builda, and these are really great. I just like servo sockets. Or yeah, I mean, it's pretty neat how these things work. But they call them servo blocks. But and I have them throughout. There's 5 of them in here, and and their servos are they're pretty high torque. Well, I just wanted to test to see, but overall, my conclusion is that I'm going to probably replace the servos with something with a little bit more overkill. I'd rather it work than struggle. And it's not really struggling. It's just that when you have hair or fur and then a type of skin and the weight of the silicone would be heavy. So you got to calculate all that. But it's a lot of guesswork. So I'm going to check into some other options and even linear servos too, and just see what kind of length they have. They're almost 100. I guess some of the smaller ones are little under 100 millimeters. But overall, I just did some testing with it just to make sure everything was clear, and I got everything taped up there. I got uh, the servos in the head. There's some high torque micro servos from Reef, uh, and also I got to put the jaw servo in, and I just didn't want that flopping around, so I taped it up. And then also that you'll see later where I need to reverse some of the servos, like reverse the servos on the right side, and then that way I can just hook up Y cables because you got a blink mechanism that's dual, and you got the ear rotation dual, and then you got the rear the I guess the ear rotation also. So all of that has to be one side of this wolf would have to be reversed and then just put on Y cables and control them, as that would be considered 3 channels. But overall, I'm happy with the results, but I feel like I ought to get it something stronger. And, you know, but that's something I'm going to be looking into. But once again, I just been waiting for supplies to come in, just little things and just to make sure I can get our animatronic project, up and running. And again, it's doing the glue work is kind of tedious and you just got to be patient. I mean, there's sometimes you have to hold something for 5 minutes just to get it to stick. But and that's the Silpoxy from Smooth On. But here's the reef servos here, and these are 55s, I believe. But these will all need to be reversed. But I can reverse these. These are programmable servos, so I can just put this device on there and change the direction. And also, like, you see me holding this. This is the ear rotation and the eyelid blank servos. And the thing is that I'm having to change them out with new servo sockets because a lot of times I design these things and I don't put the screw in there. Well, this screw head was about, I guess, about 3 millimeters thickness. Well, I didn't calculate that, and I had to make adjustments there and get a different kind of, like a flathead screw and things like that. But like right here, this is when I made the large teeth of the day, and I talked about the tongue mechanism, and this is also what I've been working on. I've been working on it periodically, and I'll just sit there and say, well, let's work on this. But this is the whole animatronic, but there's a lot of moving parts. It's oh mid-20s of servos, but this is like the bottom lip, and then I have the tongue, and then I got the two jaw servos, and then, but it's just like a double hinge where one axis is shorter than the other, and then it'll lift up at the height and then lay down. But I believe I have 10 servos. That's the jaw and the lip mechanisms and the tongue. But I'm probably going to end up adding some more. But I just want to do a test with its new dentures. But I got some work to still do on them. I'm going to add some. I got some pigments in, so I can add some coloration to it, and then plus I got to finish it all out and add a full palette to the upper, and added all those magnets because I wanted to make sure it has 5 magnets in it. Wanted to make sure it's going to hold up the other acrylics to give it a roof of the mouth, a rugae, and then that way it'll look good. Just kind of clean up things, make sure his diastema is clear, and just things like that. Just make, just bring this thing to life. But I have like a brow movement, and it's not installed, and I have some more lip movements that they're not installed yet, but I have them made. I just got to put them in there. But look, I hope y'all like this, and I appreciate all the subscribers and thanks and comments. I enjoy the comments. But look, y'all have a great one. Y'all take care. Later.